Part 302. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 3011. Chapter 3011 Finale, 3. Qiao Mian knew the current situation of Qiao Chen and Shen Xian. Qiao Chen didn't agree. It must be that Shen Xian was still unwilling to see them. Shen Rou is still unconscious. The Mo family and the Shen family have a deep grudge. Although Qiao Chen is already with Shen Xian, they are both secretive and hide it from the Shen family. As long as the Shen family has a day if they don't agree, it will be difficult for the two of them to have a good outcome. Qiao Chen is also very clear about this. It's just that no matter what, he is unwilling to give up Shen Xian. Even they themselves don't know where the two of them will go in the future, and whether the final result will be good or bad. So the two young people cherish everything they have now. Qiao Chen said that Shen Xian didn't have time, so Qiao Mian didn't talk about it anymore. Qiao Chen has grown up and her thoughts have matured. As a sister, she can only give some advice on the matters between him and Shen Xian. Suggestion: what to choose and what to do in the end, naturally depends on Qiao Chen's own decision. She will support him no matter what decision he makes. Qiao Chen's cell phone suddenly rang. He picked it up and looked at it. His eyes suddenly softened. He stood up and said to Qiao Mian and Mo Yesi, "Sister, brother-in-law, I'll go out and take a call." Looking at his reaction, Qiao Mian guessed who called him. Go. Qiao Mian pursed her lips and smiled, "If anything happens, you can leave first. I have your brother-in-law here, so you don't have to stay with me all the time." After Qiao Chen went out to answer the phone, Qiao Mian stretched out her hand and rubbed the center of her brow, showing some fatigue on her face. "Are you sleepy?" Mo Yesi quickly saw the tired look on her face. He stretched out his hand and pressed her temples a few times with moderate force. "If you're sleepy, just have a good sleep." Qiao Mian was a little sleepy. Although this baby was born quite easily and did not suffer much, giving birth is a very physically demanding thing. She turned her head and glanced at the baby who was lying on the crib, sleeping soundly. As if he knew what she was thinking, Mo Yesi reached out to touch her head and said softly, "You can sleep peacefully. I'm not going anywhere. I'll keep an eye on the baby." Qiao Mian nodded gently, "Well, then I'll take a nap." Mo Yesi is more attentive than her, and she is not worried at all when it comes to taking care of the children. "Bring the baby over and let me take a look, I'll go back to sleep." Qiao Mian just closed her eyes and opened them again. Mo Yesi smiled fondly, "Okay." Then he stood up and walked to the crib, bent down, and picked up the baby very gently. He held the baby in front of Qiao Mian. Qiao Mian stretched out her hand and gently scratched the baby's delicate cheek, looking at the baby with tender eyes. This is her child. It is the fruit of her love with Mo Yesi. Even though she had given birth to her baby, Qiao Mian still had a very unreal feeling, as if she was in a dream. She actually gave birth to a child. She actually became a mother. Is this incredibly beautiful, adorable, and beautiful baby like an angel really born to her? "Husband, our son is so good looking." Qiao Mian looked at it, feeling extremely proud, and the corners of her lips could not help but raise, "How can he be so good looking? Is this really our son?" Her question seemed a bit silly, but Mo Yesi looked at her lovingly. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 3012. Chapter 3012 Finale, 4. Her question seemed a bit silly, but Mo Yesi looked at her dotingly, and answered her gently and patiently, "Of course this is our son. His mother is a stunning beauty, and he inherited her with good genes. You will naturally look good." "What a stunning beauty!" Qiao Mian glared at him with innocent eyes, but her heart was sweet. "My son obviously looks like you, but I can't see how he looks like me." Bao Bao is just like a smaller version of Mo Yesi. Although his facial features have not fully grown and his facial contours are not deep enough, you can still tell that he looks a lot like Mo Yesi. Eyes, nose, and mouth are all like Mo Yesi. Xiao Mian had seen photos of Mo Yesi when he was a child, and he looked almost exactly like the baby. So she thinks genes are really magical. Mo Yesi glanced at the son he was holding, then raised his head to look at Xiao Mian, and said softly, "Like you, too." Xiao Mian pursed her lips and looked at her son again, but couldn't find anything that looked like hers. Probably, her white skin and dark, thick hair were inherited from her. I heard that when she was a child, her hair was very thick right after birth. Now her son is just like her, with dark and thick hair. By the way, think about our son's name. Xiao Mian covered her lips and yawned, with sleepy eyes. Think of a few first, and when I wake up, I'll see if there's anything suitable. Okay, you go to bed first. I'll think of a few names for my son first. If you don't think there's anything suitable, we'll think of them together. Mo Yesi put the baby back on the crib, returned to the bedside, helped Xiao Mian slowly lie down, and covered her with a quilt. Xiao Mian was really sleepy and tired. After lying on the bed for a while, I fell asleep. While he was drowsily sleeping, Mo Yesi heard her chanting his name, as if she was murmuring in her sleep. The voice was very small and a little hard to hear. He then leaned down and leaned closer to listen. This time, I heard it clearly. "Husband, I love you so much, and I love our baby so much. Husband, I want to be with you forever, never, never be separated." Mo Yesi stared at the sleeping girl with affectionate and doting eyes, lowered his head, pressed a very soft kiss on her lips, and whispered in her ear very softly, "Baby, me too love you forever." Asterisk. On the day of Mo Xian's 100-day banquet, Mo Yesi changed his usual low-key tone and disliked the excitement, and organized a grand event for his son. All the people in Yunchinj who had some respect were invited. Half of the famous figures in the political and business circles are invited. There are also many people in the entertainment industry. The 100-day banquet was held at Luzai. The outdoor venue was beautifully decorated and extremely luxurious. There were all kinds of luxury brands, and there were even so many that they looked like unwanted cabbages picked up from the vegetable market. Everyone knows that the Lu family is the top wealthy family in Yunchinj. However, because the Lu family has always kept a low profile and does not like to show off their wealth, even if most people know that the Lu family has strong financial resources, they still have no specific understanding of how strong it is. This 100-day banquet has made many people gain insight and realize how big the gap is between this kind of super top wealthy families and ordinary so-called rich people. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 3013. Chapter 3013 Finale, 5. Compared with the Lu family, other so-called wealthy families would be embarrassed to say that they are also wealthy families. There was a drone hovering over the open-air garden, and a camera was installed on the drone to record every detail of the banquet. In order to protect the privacy of the newly born young prince of the Mo family, reporters are not allowed to enter. The delicacies made by the top pastry chefs and chefs are placed in every corner of the garden, and hundreds of waiters are carrying silver trays of champagne and wine, shuttling among the bustling celebrities. The world-renowned orchestra played beautiful music one after another live. I heard that this orchestra is the Royal Orchestra of Country M. It has always performed only for the royal family. This time, the royal family of Country M took the initiative to arrange for the Royal Orchestra to come to support the 100-day banquet of the young prince of the Lu family. At this time, the Lu family was a bustling scene. On the other side, the airport, the boarding gate. Yan Xiaoqing looked at his friend in front of him with reluctance in his eyes and sighed, "Do you have to leave?" Gong Zili smiled and reached out to pat him on the shoulder, "It's not like I won't come back after leaving. Why are you so sad? If you want to see me, you can fly over to accompany me at any time." Yan Xiaoqing felt quite uncomfortable and sighed again, "That's right. But when you go abroad, where can it be as convenient as now? You can make an appointment anytime you want. But since you have decided well, what else can a brother say besides support? However, how many years do you plan to go there? If you want to develop the overseas market, it will take at least 3 to 5 years. Do you plan to stay abroad for the next 3 to 5 years and never come back?" Yan Xiaoqing did not expect that Gong Zili would fall into such a deep trap. Qiao Mianmian's child has been born, but he hasn't come out yet. It was said that Gong wanted to expand overseas markets, so he decided to personally go to a newly established company abroad to take charge. But Yan Xiaoqing knew exactly why he went abroad. Gongxi's main revenue markets are all in China. Even if a new company is established abroad and wants to market overseas, there is no need for him, the president of the Gong family, to go there. But it's okay to go abroad and start a new life. Maybe in a year or two, he will be able to completely let go of the things that he can't let go of now. Gong Zili was silent for a moment, raised his head and looked at Mrs. Gong, who was standing not far away, her eyes red and swollen from crying. After a moment, she said, "The tentative decision is 3 years. If there is nothing special, it should be won't be back." "Hey, you." Yan Xiaoqing couldn't help but sigh again. He felt that he had sighed more times that day than in the whole year. "Okay, we have to go through the security check soon." Gong Zili looked away from Madame Gong and lowered his eyes. His long and thick eyelashes covered the many emotions that flashed through his narrow phoenix eyes. Reluctance, pain, confusion. When he raised his head again, there was no emotion on his face. He took out a box that he had prepared long ago from his bag and handed it to Yan Xiaoqing. Yan Xiaoqing was stunned for a moment. "What is this?" Gong Zili's voice was quite calm, "Please pass the gift to the baby on my behalf." Gong Zili did not specify who he would give it to. But Yan Xiaoqing understood it immediately. "This is a gift prepared by Gong Zili for Qiao Mianmian's baby." Yan Xiaoqing took it over. The box was a sandalwood box for jewelry. He guessed that it should contain something like a longevity lock. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 3014. Chapter 3014 completed. "Okay, I will bring the things for you. But, can I know what you sent?" Gong Zili was silent for a moment and nodded, "You can open it and take a look." Yan Xiaoqing opened the box. When he saw the gift in the box, he was stunned. Then he raised his head in surprise, "Isn't this your amulet?" "Yeah." Gong Zili nodded, "I think this amulet is quite effective. It has protected me for many years. Now, let someone else protect it." Yan Xiaoqing was extremely surprised. "This is the amulet you have worn since childhood, and it has prevented you from several disasters. You just gave it to others like this." Gong Zili was weak and sick when he was a child, and often encountered bad things. Mrs. Gong went to the temple to beg a senior monk for an amulet. "This amulet is very effective. Since putting it on, his health has been getting better day by day. After that, I encountered several more dangerous things, but they were all saved. Since then, Gong Zili has been wearing the amulet. So this amulet is very, very important to him. It's not someone else." Gong Zili's eyes were filled with unclear emotions, and his eyes were deep. "That's Mianmian's child. I hope he can grow up healthy and safe. Back then, she saved his life, but he mistook his savior for the wrong person and protected the wrong person. Even if he wanted to make amends after knowing the truth, it was too late. Now, he hopes that this amulet that he has worn since he was a child and has protected him from growing up safely and healthily can also protect her children from growing up healthily and safely. Xiaoqing, give me another message to ACI, tell him to treat Mian well. If he dares to do anything to make Mian sorry, I will never let him go. Yan Xiaoqing. He didn't dare to say this to Mo Yesi. However, he felt that Gong Zili did not need to worry about this at all. Mo Yesi dotes on Xiao Mian so much that he almost plucks the stars from the sky and gives them to her. Okay, I really have to leave. Let's get together as brothers when we have time. Gong Zili walked past Yan Xiaoqing, and after saying a few words to Mrs. Gong, who was crying like a woman, then he turned around and walked into the boarding gate and went to the security check. After passing the security check, he turned his head, waved to Yan Xiaoqing and Madame Gong, and then left without looking back. Soon, his figure was completely invisible. Yan Xiaoqing withdrew his gaze sadly, then lowered his head and looked at the wooden box in his hand. He couldn't tell what he felt in his heart. Perhaps, when one day Gong Zili feels completely relieved and lets go of Xiao Mian completely and returns to China, everything can return to the way it was before. He looks forward to this day coming soon. Yan Xiaoqing stood at the boarding gate for a few minutes, carefully put away the wooden box, turned his head, and said to Mrs. Gong, who was wiping tears and looking reluctant to leave, "Aunt Gong, let's go back to." Mrs. Gong was still looking at the direction Gong Zili had left just now with a look of reluctance on her face. She looked at it for a long time before reluctantly looking back. Yan Xiaoqing stepped forward, took her arm in a very gentlemanly manner, and the two turned and left the airport. A moment later, the flight to Country M also took off. On the plane, Gong Zili took out his mobile phone, opened the photo album on the mobile phone, and clicked on a photo from the album. It's a photo he took secretly. In the photo, the girl has bright eyes, white teeth, and delicate facial features. She looks particularly beautiful when she smiles. Her smile makes people feel warm and beautiful. When she smiled, it seemed as if the whole world became better. Gong Zili looked down at the girl in the photo for a long time. Mian, you must be happy," he murmured in a low voice. "Must be very happy." This concludes the article. Thank you all for your continued support. End of this chapter.